So let us talk about the quadratic equations. Quadratic equations. Now, a quadratic equation, rather, just like I discussed earlier, is that particular equation in which the highest independent variable power is 2. For instance, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. This is an example of a quadratic equation. Why? You agree with me that the highest variable power here is what? Of course, is 2. Okay? And this equation is the general equation for a quadratic equation. This is the general form of equation for a quadratic equation. Okay? General form of a quadratic equation. So, you might be asked in your objective questions that which of the following is the general form of a quadratic equation? Of course, you don't have to worry yourself about which of the options. Just go straight to the option that looks like what we have over here. And that's the answer. Alright, so now, based on, if you follow the class sequentially, you see the way I'm breaking it down. So I'll be able to digest it better. Okay, so the quadratic equation has different methods we can use to solve them. And some of the methods are, the first one I would like to show you is the factorization method. Factorization method. Why will I show you the factorization method first? Because, of course, it is the basic method used to solve any quadratic equation. So the first one is the factorization method. From the word factorization, it simply means a way of looking for the factors of a particular equation. Very simple. Is that okay? And these factors are basically 2. These factors are also called the root of the quadratic equation. Don't worry, we'll dissolve them one after the other for you to understand, okay? So factorization method is the first and the basic method used to solve quadratic equations. Another method like that, okay, I'm sure we are following with the class, alright? David Briggs, you're welcome to class. Okay, so let us continue what we have. You met us at the right time. We're just discussing the various forms of methods we can use to solve quadratic equations. And the first one we said is the factorization method. But before that, we introduced the general form of a quadratic equation, which is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Go to the moon, come down to the earth. This is still the general form of quadratic equation. It does not change. And on this basis is what we are going to build other buildings. Okay? So this is just like the foundation of the quadratic equation. Okay. The other method that looks like this is the completing the square method. Oh, while I was much younger, this method looks like the almighty to me. It was very, very quite difficult for most of us. But we found our way around it. And that is why I'm here to show you the nitty-gritty of this method. Though nobody will ask you to use this particular method. I think that should be in what's it called? Your SSC, that you'll be asked to use a particular method to solve. In the university, nobody cares insofar as your answer is correct. Kudos to you, okay? So most times, we would not advise you to use the completing the square method because there is a method that looks like completing the square method which will enable you to solve the questions very, very fast and without any issue. And that method is called the algebraic method. And most of us, when we were growing up, we call it almighty formula. And I'm going to show you why it is called the almighty formula. Probably I should just show you now. It is called the almighty formula because it can actually solve any quadratic equation, no matter how complex the quadratic equation is. Of course, some equations will not work using the factorization method, but once you use completing the square method or the algebraic method, definitely you get answers to those problems. It's as easy as that, okay? So the algebraic method is a method that looks like the completing the square method. And the final method we can use for your level to solve algebraic problems is the graphical method. So solving for